Hello everyone and welcome to another high-low game of Age of Empires. Today, heavy cavalry that takes less bonus damage takes on heavy halberdiers that do more bonus damage, as the Viper playing as the Sicilians in yellow gets ready to duke it out with Sora Kuma playing as the Bohemians in red. Now all the players heard their herdables explore their immediate piggly-wiggly surroundings and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP. Not a bad time for us to take a look at the Civ matchup that we are going to be watching today. Now the Viper, Sicilians, a civilization whose strength, in my opinion, derives from their static defensive structures. If you take a look at the top of your screen where my mouse is very languidly circling around, you'll notice that they start every game with 100 extra stone, which is fantastic because they build town centers twice as fast as normal, fortifications 50% faster than normal, and starting in the Feudal Age, at least for now, and we're not quite into the new patch yet where they get this in Dark Age, but in the Feudal Age, the Sicilians can build their unique structure, the donjon. Think of this as a mini castle that gains both HP and armor as the game progresses, and like its sister structure, the Bulgarian Krepost, can be used to train the unique unit of the Civ. In this particular case, not a conic, but a sergeant, a medium infantry unit with great base armor, whose HP actually increases from in the Castle Age, and is, for now, one of the only two unique units that can be trained in Feudal. Cough, cough, looking at you, Flemish militiamen, who will now be the third. By the way, you can use those very same sergeants to build and repair the donjons that gave them life. Now, unlike the Bulgarian Krepos, the donjon can also be used to train spearman line units and can also be counted as a prerequisite in order to build your stable or your archery range. So you don't technically need a barracks. Now, if you find yourself in dire need of a lot of army ASAP, one of the cool features of the Sicilians is their ability to call the First Crusade, where each single one of these structures, their town centers, spawn 5 sergeants up to a maximum of 5 TCs, so 25 sergeants in almost the blink of an eye. Now, to help protect the sergeant, because it is an infantry unit and it does have a lot of armor, much like the Teutonic Knight, which means it's a little bit slow on its feet. To protect it from harassment and things like that on the battlefield, Sicilian Knights and Cavaliers can be upgraded to have extra armor. And all Sicilian infantry, cavalry, and archer units take 33% less bonus damage, which is not a small thing at all. Now, by the way, all of those Sicilian units can be upgraded to also become more resistant to conversion. Speaking of similarities with the Teutons, now to feed their hungry militaristic population, the Sicilians have the most bountiful farms in the game. When a farm upgrade is researched, it more than doubles. Let's take a look at that mill where those things are researched, more than doubles the amount of food that's added to a farm. So if we're lucky enough to see this game go into Imperial, a Sicilian farm fully upgraded, well over 1,000 food. Now, who might want to stop the Sicilians from getting their butts up to Imperial? Let's take a look at the south of the map where we've got Sora Kuma playing as the Bohemians, a civilization that pushes its players towards gunpowder units by making the chemistry upgrade and hand cannoneers available in the Castle Age and having access to an upgrade that increases the speed of all other gunpowder units. Now, before you think the Bohemians are just an early hand cannoneer one-trick pony, no. They have access to 2 powerful, unique gunpowder units. Much like the Vietnamese have 2 unique archer units, the Tatars have 2 unique mounted units, the Bohemians have 2 unique gunpowder. The first is the Hasai Wagon, an incredibly tanky, powerful siege unit, sometimes referred to as the Mobile Wall. Now, why is it called that? Not just because it's big and thick and juicy, but it can actually protect units behind it from enemy projectiles by splitting the damage of those projectiles in half. The second unique unit, the Haufnitzer or Howitzer, an upgraded version of the already awesome bombard cannon with more HP, better armor, higher damage, a wider blast radius, and a massive attack bonus against buildings. But before you get too antsy in the pantsy thinking about all the things you can do with that howitzer, realize that upgrading your bombard cannons to Haufnitzers costs more than going up to the Imperial Age. Now, to provide backup for their expensive units, their powerful gunpowder units, the Bohemians have a few pretty, let's say, interesting bonuses and features. To start with, as I mentioned in the intro, their spearman line units, their spearmen, their pikemen, their halberdiers, all do 25% more bonus damage, and you can completely evolve your monk line by researching an upgrade that replaces all the gold costs of not only monks, but their upgrades as well with food, essentially turning Bohemian monks into very chubby, very well-fed trash units. Now, as every player knows, gunpowder units are pretty darn expensive, so to help you pay for them, universities and blacksmiths cost less wood. Mining camp upgrades, come Oh my goodness, I am so distracted. Sometimes things happen on the screen. I get super duper distracted. Mining camp upgrades are free of charge. Markets work 80% faster, and villagers are harder to raid because they benefit from 2 monk upgrades that make them both move faster and have more HP. I am, of course, referring to Fervor and Sanctity. Them be the 2 civilizations we've got before us. The Viper has already discovered where his opponent is. Sora Kuma, I believe, has also discovered where his opponent is, so not a bad time for us to remove the blinders, take a look at the map, where the resources are, where the players are. There we go. Standard Donjon on his own gold. I'm a little bit surprised it's in the forward position and not here. Usually it's also protecting the wood line, but to be fair, surprised or not, this is probably the better location for it. If he had placed the Donjon here, the southern area, just south, pardon me, of the gold, could be full of ranged units that might snipe villagers. Right now, those villagers are pretty darn safe, unless somehow Sora Kuma threads the eye of the needle here, goes into this one tile, and then just starts shelling away at any villagers here. But how likely is he to do that with an archery range already being plopped down? Okay, and a wall already. Okay, so construction's beginning. As I'm rambling on about Piggly Wigglies, let's take a look at the attack path. Not exactly 2 very light or fast civilizations on their feet. I mean, the Bohemians with Wagenburg tactics do increase the movement speed of their gunpowder units, but when it's from like 0.8 to 0.92 or something like that, whatever the heck it is, not exactly still the fastest. We're not really looking at the Cumans, the Magyars, any kind of mounted civilization today. So the attack path, pretty darn open between the players. It looks like Sora Kuma's northern portion of his base already walled in, whereas the Viper is leaving his base completely open. For now, his scout is back to the back of the base of the Bohemian. And let's take a look at that base. Primary stone to the rear, primary gold off to the side and protected. I believe the Viper should have seen. Where is your scout, Mr. Viper? I believe he should have seen that gold. Yeah, he has seen that gold. Extra gold in the forward position, but not really on the attack path. Damn you, house, says this one red scout. Extra gold to the back, extra stone to the back. So not a terrible base at all, especially given the way Sora Kuma has walled this off, has secured himself a very safe internal forest that he can basically jack without having to worry about anyone catching him. Now let's take a look at the Viper's base. We saw his gold protected now by a Donjon forward stone. Off the beaten track, additional gold, extra gold off to the right. And where is his third patch? So the Viper's second, pardon me, patch of stone. The Viper's resources are kind of all over the place. And he has revealed to his opponent that he is going to be pressing in with some ranged units. For now, 0 kills apiece. So the Viper again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 forests, also in an incredibly unhelpful position. And whereas Sora Kuma spawned in a bit of a corner, which means he has this juicy forest to help him. In the rear, untouchable, the Viper spawned along the edge of the map, which means he doesn't really have a backwards place to fall back on. Might have to expand north or south, let's say northeast or southwest, depending on where Sora, number one, depending on if Sora Kuma is the one who attacks, and number 2, if he attacks, where he attacks. We saw yesterday in the game with Hera, man, did his opponent miss a bit of an opportunity to lame 3 patches of initial gold, the first, the second, and the third. Both players trying to get the high ground over one another, but remember, Sicilians, even if you do have the high ground over them, take 33% less bonus damage. I'm sure brainier people, smarter people, more actuarial inclined people than me, people than me have discussed, how all the numbers shape up with the 25% heal bonus versus your 33% less bonus damage. How it shapes up with against the Tatars, for example. For now, the Viper with 4 villagers on stone. Are we going to see another Donjon? I mean, this gold patch really is exposed here. Yeah, Sora Kuma sees it going up with the Palisade and the Archer units and immediately responds. Will 5 villagers be enough to outpace the Sicilian construction crews who work 50% faster when it comes to fortifications? Remember, town centers, they build twice as fast, and fortifications, which a donjon technically is, I believe, is 50% faster, but our Bohemian beats him to the punch. And now is he aiming? He's targeting them. We have a kill here to the south. 2 kills apiece at the moment in archer units. His quiver lies on the battlefield as well. And it looks like one of those 3 sergeants did bite the dust. So kill count 2 apiece. Outposts, towers, walls, I think gates, castles, and donjons, I want to say, are the fortifications. Where are they going? The Viper's got enough stone. The donjons do cost more than towers. They are 50 wood and 175 stone to the 35, 125 of a tower. Is it 35 or 25? Some things I can never keep in my brain. I think it's one of those. It's 25 or 35. Now, once you get your donjon up, I do want to compare it to a tower, because I think the only real advantage the donjon has in the Feudal Age is the HP. I think it has 50% more HP. Aside from that, the same attack, the same armor. I'll take a look at the attack speed, because that's something that definitely does play a role. Sora Kuma did get that 1 extra kill that we heard. For now, though, the Viper has amassed a 19-sized army here, and the donjon's up. So let's take a look. Both attack on a 5, both have fletching, so 5 plus 1. 1-7, 1-7 armor, 8 range base, but yeah, 400 more HP for the donjon, 2-second reload time, 2-second reload time. So really just the 400 more HP for this structure, which, to be fair, is a pretty darn, that's a lot of chunk on your building compared to your more lean Ozempic style tower of your opponent. Unless, of course, you're playing against the Byzantines or somebody who invests in tower upgrades later on. For now, though, neither of those is happening. The Viper, by the way, still 7 villagers on stone, so he is going to press in with donjons. And he's going to be pressing hard with 7 villagers on stone. That being said, Sora Kuma, he's got the antidote to the Sergeant Donjon Feudal Age push, and whereas the Viper is doubling down with Wheelbarrow right now, our Bohemian, he's got the answer. He's literally 18 seconds away from the Castle Age. Siege can come out, monks can come out, structures can be made thicker and more safe from attack. His towers can be upgraded if he so wishes. Whatever the heck the Viper wants to do, the Viper can, or pardon me, Sora Kuma wants to do, Sora Kuma can do. And let's see what he actually does decide to do. Oh no, Bodkin. University, so monk play? Okay. I mean, I would have figured with this many ranged units, maybe some kind of siege out of our Bohemian, who has lost control of his primary gold, lost control of his tertiary gold. But as we saw, the other gold, the secondary gold, is nice and secure to the back. Big, thick market for our Bohemian. Not a cheap structure like the Saracens, but doing its job, which is to deny and delay and just be a big obstacle for the Viper, whose army count is now up to 24 to 14. It looks like we've got a band of archers. We'll see what happens with these. Okay, so Sora Kuma says the best defense is a good offense. Shoves in a bunch of Feudal Age archers. By the way, Feudal Age archers that are going to have chemistry in a minute. He's going hand cannoneer defense. Oh, let's see it. Hand cannoneers with their plus 10 attack bonus against sergeants is going to pretty much melt these units, unless the Viper, who himself is 7 seconds away from Castle Age, can come up with some kind of solution here. And the solution might just be go around, because your opponent created a funnel and then didn't garrison until your units are already out. Monk dies. Sergeants with their base armor don't give a rat's butt about your town center arrows. And even though one got converted, I'm not too sure that's enough to justify a monk. Chemistry is completed. Where are the archery ranges? 2 archery ranges. Hand cannoneer. Hand cannoneer. But the Viper inserts himself here to the rear. Palisade gets deleted. Our Bohemian's on the run. His gold gets discovered. Oh no, and now he's got access to no gold. And when you're going hand cannoneer, you, how do I put this lightly? Without gold, you are up Shit's Creek. Donjon firing on the villagers, skirmishers, monks, whatever the hell. Okay, so you know what? The Viper's army isn't here, except for these sergeants, 2 of which get converted. Or 1 of them gets converted right now. Hand cannoneer joining in on the fight as well. And so the villagers could do a good amount of damage here. Donjon now automatically, just by virtue of surviving into the Castle Age, has more HP. Archer units, still 0 kills. Donjon up, gold lamed. And this is very problematic for Sora Kuma, our player who, to be fair, has 13 villagers on stone, because what the hell else are you going to do with these units when your opponent pushes you off all 3 of your gold patches? I don't know how long you can survive here without gold. At the very least, get another market and start selling stuff if you really want to double down on hand cannoneers. But his army is small. 1 monk, 1 converted sergeant, 1 spearman guarding the stone miners, 2 hand cannoneers, and 2 basic skirmishers. May not necessarily get the job done here against the Sicilian army. It looks like, by the way, up north, as I was reading the army, I noticed, hey, wait a second, there's supposed to be a couple of archers up there. No, they've been taken care of as well. Yeah, it looks like maybe the skirmishers got them. Yeah, 5 kills for these elite skirmishers. Ballistics for our Sicilian makes his donjons just a little bit more dangerous, makes his archer units just a little bit more dangerous, but they're entering under a TC, the Viper. Very odd mistake, but the monk, will he survive? He does not survive. He can't even make it to the safety of the TC. And with all that stone, it is a castle that is going up. If he can get a castle, he can secure this location. And if he can secure this location, at the very least, he'll have a little trickle of gold income so that he can start pumping out those hand cannoneers. Donjon unfortunately still stands with a massive 1000 HP. Now the villagers turn their ire onto this one that's not really as defended as the others. Their base armor jumps from 1 to 2 as well. The villager attacks on a 3, which means 1 damage, but that's okay. Whatever little amount of damage you can do is good enough, because there is no murder holes for the Viper. And the sergeants catch the villagers. Not every day. Oh, and the donjon catches the 3rd. But I spy with my little eye the Hussite wagon coming out. I don't know that this unit comes with an attack bonus that's relevant here, right? No infantry, just building 1 and ram 3. They do hit hard, but look at how little damage they do on these against these Sicilian units. And by the way, the hand cannoneer bonus of +10 would also get reduced to 6.666666 against the Sicilian units, because remember, those infantry units take 33% less bonus damage. Just an incredibly powerful feature, if I didn't already say so, of the Sicilians, who now find themselves under a hailstorm of bullets. That being said, gold still unminable. Villager down. Sora Kuma's got 31 villagers. The Viper feel comfortable enough to get a 2nd TC. His military expenditure is quite low. He's up to 14 sergeants. He's going pure villager. Now that he knows he's lamed gold, pretty much stone, gold, and the only thing his opponent has is stone, I don't know why the Viper doesn't just keep pressing. He still has 7 villagers. Oh, he just needs 2 more pebbles, and he can build another donjon. But for now, the sergeants come out on the right flank. They're going after villagers on the left flank. They're going after the Hussite wagon. The mobile wall is getting hatcheted down by these sergeants, and that's all she wrote. Okay. Well, the Viper executes a very strategic tower push. Sometimes we see games where the players go up to towers or donjons or crepos, whatever you want to early game push with, and it's kind of one over here. They go after lumberjacks. They try to lame the lumberjacks so their opponents don't have resources to repair or build structures. The Viper, though, just went after that gold, and then went after this gold, and just did not relent, like a Rottweiler with a chew toy in its mouth that you want to take back from it. And the Viper says, no. This is my gold. This is my gold, and you're not mining it come hell or high water. So great strategic location. He killed 27 villagers to 0. If you add those 27 villagers back to Sora Kuma's count of 28, he'll have 55 to 63. So he won't be that far behind, about 10 or 15%. Unfortunately for him, his offensive army accomplished very little. I don't think it killed any villagers, because the villager kill is 0, which means it accomplished nothing until the skirmishers showed up. And I don't know if these are the same skirmishers, but that band we saw earlier that had 5 kills, definitely it's those 4 or 5 archer units. And as much as you can pump out the Hussite wagon, it is not a cheap unit. The Hussite wagon costs 70 gold and 110 wood. I love that Sora Kuma, to be fair, if he had gold income, could have defended this. Even just one patch of gold. Did he not see the one over here? Oh, how sour is this? I harp on scouting so much. I talk about O'Hara as the best early game scouter in the game at the moment. But Sora Kuma, if he knew he had 2,400 gold right back here, he, believe me, would probably not have gone into stone. He would have just pivoted. Now, he could have gone to stone, got the castle, and then pivoted. But the fact that he doesn't know this exists, he doesn't even know the stone here. Look how cool this little area is. It's got extra stone, extra gold. It's got a relic. It's got food. It's got wood. It's got everything a growing civilization needs in order to mature into adulthood. It also has a few enemy units patrolling it, but with hand cannoneers, what's a skirmisher and what's a sergeant going to do? So a little bit unfortunate there that Sora Kuma did not scout the extra gold, because had he done so, maybe he could have gotten out a hand cannoneer defense to the humanoid army. And then in Castle Age with wood and gold, gotten out some, I don't know, rams to shove, survivalist style, shoving things into other things, hand cannoneers into rams, or just plain old mangonels to take down these donjons. But unfortunately, he did not see that he had extra gold up here. The Viper, though, hilariously did see that his opponent has these resources, which is exactly why his army is here, patrolling, making sure this royal deer is hunted only by the Sicilian royalty and not by the Bohemian royalty. And his push, little by little, encroached into the base, unharassed back at home. He continued to mine stone more and more. And let's take a look at the stats. As short of the game as a game it was, oh my goodness, I'm very tongue-tied today. As short as this game was, pretty darn action-packed with, 90 kills in total. 90 kills isn't bad in a 30-minute game when it's it's basically a glorified tower push, which is what a donjon is. We didn't see any spearmen being trained out of it. Did he have even a stable or an archery range? He had an archery range. Okay. But he also had a barracks. So it's a little bit confusing. Now, they tell you that you don't really need a barracks if you have the donjon, but how the hell else are you going to research your upgrades? Sergeant to absolutely nothing. Literally nothing. This is a feudal age army with a little bit of monk support. PKPM right in the middle of the game. PKPM also around the middle of the game, about a minute and a half from one another. The economies, I can't imagine Sora Kuma's is good at all. No, there it is. What is that? 6,000 difference, 50% bigger economy almost for the Viper, whose Sicilian settlement remained untouched, unspoiled by the Bohemian war machine. Army high conversion. Any relics? No, we did not have that kind of game. Conversions 3-0. There's your 3 sergeants. Raisings 2-1. Not really important. But this wasn't really a game about murdering as many units as you could. It's not really a game about destroying as many buildings and reducing your opponent's base to rubble. No, this was a strategic game. This was a game of deny your opponent the very lifeblood. It's like taking out blood little by little by little. Now you have a couple of quarts less. Now you got a couple of quarts less. And without seeing that he could have gone here a long time ago, Sora Kuma just didn't know that he had that option. And is it any surprise with 28 villagers and sergeants destroying his mobile walls, hatcheting them down with this cool animation at the end of the game, that Sora Kuma just takes too much of a pounding, too much of a bruising, taps out, lives to fight another day, and it is the Viper with the well-located, well-timed, and well-placed push that takes the W. But GG to both players.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.